The internet completely exploded after Ally Carter claimed Tupac allegedly hid her existence before she was mysteriously dragged into the Epstein Island nightmare. According to Ally, she spent years trying to contact Tupac's side of the family, but allegedly got ignored every single time. But things reportedly became terrifying when she claimed she was suddenly kidnapped at just 15 years old and thrown into a dark world connected to Jeffrey Epstein's island. The craziest part? She hinted that powerful people may have wanted her erased completely because revealing Tupac had a hidden daughter could destroy carefully protected secrets. At first, everyone mocked her story and called her unstable. But now, after Epstein's files exposed disturbing details involving elite figures, many people online are suddenly wondering if Ally was trying to warn the public years before everyone else finally started paying attention.
Tupac had a what? Word on the street is that Tupac Shakur had a secret daughter. And baby, the things that were allegedly done to her will have your jaw on the floor. A woman named Ally Carter has been claiming for years that she is Tupac's biological child, and that the industry didn't just ignore her. They allegedly handed her over to the same circles that Diddy was running. And don't even get me started on the birth certificate situation, because when she went to the hospital to collect hers, the nurse took one look at her last name and started crying. To make matters even worse, Ally says what she witnessed and experienced at those infamous Diddy parties goes so far beyond what people have been talking about. She called it straight up satanic. Listen, there is a lot to talk about here, so grab a chair and let's get into it. Okay, so unless you've been living under a rock, you know that Tupac Shakur officially had no confirmed children. He was briefly married to Keisha Morris, and according to Keisha's interview with Source magazine, he had actually picked out names for kids they planned to have together. But they separated before any of that happened, and Tupac was shot and killed in Las Vegas in September 1996 at just 25 years old. His estate, which is estimated to be worth upward of $40 million and still growing, was eventually controlled by his sister Sequia after his mother Afeni passed in 2016. Now, a woman named Ally Carter started surfacing online around 2020, claiming loudly and repeatedly that Tupac is her father. And if you actually sit with her story, it's hard to just dismiss it outright. Now here's where things start to get really interesting. Ally says she was born at St. Bernardine's Hospital in California, and years later she went back to same hospital to collect her birth certificate. When she asked for the file, the nurse looked at her last name and started crying and apologizing. Ally was told that her father's name was missing from the certificate because of a shift change at the hospital. A shift change, right?
Yes, it's the pinnacle of all the thoughts. Now this is the next level
digging
with this new
and
album.
seeing where things led and who I really was and what was really going on, because things didn't make sense to me. Everybody kept my baby picture from me. Nobody wanted to show me my birth certificate. People kept things from me like it was a huge secret. People treated me different. And I have one baby picture. Just one that we found. They told me at St. Bernardine's Hospital in San Bernardino, California, that the reason why my father wasn't on the birth certificate was because it was shift change, and that the nurse had to sign for me because it was shift change. St. Bernardine's, when I went back a few years ago, I asked them for the paperwork, and the nurse started crying when she went back into the inventory and saw my last name. She came out and she was crying and shaking, and I was already saying she was so sorry and she didn't even tell me what happened yet.
She's even admitted that sometimes she wonders if she actually wants to know the full truth. Because whatever that truth is it clearly runs deep enough for a hospital employee to break down in tears upon realizing who she was. Now, a lot of people on the internet took one look at Ally and said that she doesn't need a DNA test, that the resemblance to Tupac speaks for itself. Whether or not that's true, what happened next in her life makes the question of her father almost secondary to everything else. But finding out who her father was turned out to be the least of her problems. And that's where things go from messy to genuinely disturbing. Ally Carter has alleged that she was a victim of child trafficking, and that it started when she was very young, allegedly as early as 5 years old. She claims she ended up in the circles as Diddy's infamous freak-off parties, where she says she was used as one of the party favors. Mind you, this is a child we are talking about. She went on to try and pursue a case against Riverside County Child Protective Services, which she alleges had a direct hand in her trafficking situation. She gathered 8 months' worth of evidence. 8 months. And when she brought it to investigators, it was allegedly ignored and hidden away. Word on the street is she had names, she had receipts, and the system swallowed it whole and acted like none of it existed.
It was really weird. At first, I thought I was tripping. But no. Around that time, Unthinkable with Alicia Keys came out. It was around the time that I seen him again. And he did a collab with Alicia Keys. And people thought that was just machines and, you know, people have that power to just completely use that voice all over again. No. Sounded like he was right there, wasn't it? He is. And I'm sure now he won't be able to take this information getting out there, because when you fake your death, you really want to escape from the truth and all the secrets that you have. You escape from the fact that you may be a killer and a pedophile. You escape from the fact that when you sold your soul, you might have sold your child. Dead. A lot of people have been lying to you. You don't live in the world you think you do.
And the things she says she witnessed at those parties, y'all, she described them as satanic. Oh, honey, it doesn't stop there. Ally said that Diddy's events weren't just sexual gatherings. She described them as satanic ritual gatherings. And she was clear that everyone was so focused on the adult celebrities involved that nobody was paying attention to the children. The children, she said, were the ones nobody was talking about. She even warned other survivors to be careful about which hotlines they called, because she suspected some of them were not there to help. They were allegedly taking inventory of who was coming forward. And after all of this went viral in 2020, baby, she lost everything. Her family lost their home. They lost their animals. Everything they had was gone. She also called out Denzel Washington by name, pointing out that people don't hold powerful men accountable the same way. That the same silence that protected Diddy for decades was protecting others. Two, she made it very clear she didn't want $1 from any of it. No settlement, no NDA. She called any money attached to that situation blood money. And by the time she went fully public with all of this, people were shocked, but not necessarily surprised. Now, here's the part that should make everyone uncomfortable. Ally spoke out about all of this in 2023, and barely anyone believed her. In fact, she was actively dragged for it. Her social media accounts were deleted. She received threats during live streams. Word on the street is she went quiet for a period because the heat got so intense. And to make matters even worse, her own sister, Keisha Carter, later appeared on a podcast and said flat out that Tupac is not Ally's father. Her own family came out against her. Now, I'm not saying who's right or wrong there, but I will say this. It is awfully convenient that the moment a woman starts claiming she is the hidden daughter of one of the most powerful cultural icons in hip-hop history and alleges that the industry trafficked her, the people closest to her suddenly start contradicting her story. If you know what I mean, and if this is your first time hearing any of this, stick around, because there is a whole lot more where this came from. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what we're breaking down next. Now, Ally isn't the only one who has come forward. There's also a TikToker who goes with JC Shakur. She's so sure she is Tupac's daughter that she legally uses his last name. And she has over 250,000 followers on TikTok who follow her every post. According to various reports, she was reportedly born somewhere between 1993 and 1996, which would put her birth squarely within Tupac's lifetime. And then there's Talia Bria, the name that started circulating on Twitter over a decade ago. Allegedly, Tupac hid a daughter in Canada, and the rumor only really gained legs when members of the Outlaws, Tupac's own group, his people, were spotted publicly tweeting at Talia. That's not nothing, y'all. Now, here's the thing that ties all of this together. Tupac's estate is worth tens of millions of dollars. The industry has had every reason in the world to make sure no confirmed biological heir ever surfaces. And meanwhile, women who claim to be his children have been ignored, ridiculed, trafficked, and silenced. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, this is your sign. We break these stories down every single week, and you really do not want to miss what's coming. People had their thoughts about all of this, like this person who said, Ally Carter has been screaming this story since 2020, and everyone called her crazy. The Diddy arrest changed everything. She deserves an apology and justice. Another person said, whether or not Tupac is her father, what was done to that child is a crime. And the fact that the industry buried it for this long should scare everyone. But now I want to know your thoughts. Do you believe Ally Carter is Tupac's daughter? And do you think powerful people in the industry deliberately made sure her story never got the attention it deserved? Let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to click here to watch this other very messy video.